You know, I wish a title like Better Man equated to Better Movie. Is it just me? It might be just me because look, this movie has gotten so much buzz and so much critical acclaim. Everybody has been talking about how unique it feels as a musician biopic. Because, yeah, stop me if you've heard this one. It's a true story of the meteoric rise of a really famous musician who started off in a boy band. And through addiction, through sacrifice, through God knows what, through family drama, it's a troubled life that he leads. And we see so many biopics like this nowadays. But our main hero in this, Robbie Williams, is portrayed as a primate. That's right, a true story is basically presented to you as a fictionalized version of this guy's life. But this guy is portrayed as a chimp. That is a really bold choice. And, you know, unfortunately, see, here's the thing. Better Man is absolutely well-intentioned. The whole reason why this movie exists and the message it's getting across, I am 1000% in support of. I am 1000% in support of everybody getting the support that they need for this certain thing that they're talking about. I just think the execution was just so clumsy. The director of this movie is Michael Gracey, whom you might remember from The Greatest Showman. A lot of theater geeks like myself and a lot of my close friends who do theater, they have hailed The Greatest Showman as one of their favorite movies of all time. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say that The Greatest Showman is some sort of masterpiece because admittedly, even though I love it, it does have some issues. Michael Gracey's direction overall as it goes with musical movies and musical style movies, I think can be really solid. I think my favorite part of this movie is the overall choreography. There is one sequence that takes place aboard a boat. It just felt magical. And the song that plays in the background and the underscoring, like, yeah, this is what I want the rest of the movie to be. But unfortunately, the movie does fall under those typical musician biopic patterns that we've all grown to know and love at this point. And in addition to the pacing, like, this is a long movie, around 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I absolutely felt the runtime. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was boring. Like, there was always something interesting going on and something really depressing happening. But honestly, it's not like I'm going to sit here and say the movie was well paced either. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Better Man is an easy watch. Which leads me into my biggest issue of all, the overall presentation. Why is this man portrayed as a chimp? Why the is he a monkey? Like, a few of my friends have come up to me and they've said, oh, it's because Robbie Williams sees himself as a party animal. He sees himself as a primate. But listen, like, yeah, he is an executive producer, Robbie Williams, and he actually does all the motion capture for our main character and he plays him. And yeah, that's all fine. But think of it this way. If you've never heard who Robbie Williams was, if you're not well versed in boy band history like I am, like, I like my fair share of boy bands. Like, give me NSYNC, give me freaking Backstreet Boys, give me, like, freaking, I don't know, the Jonas Brothers. Do they count as a boy band? Point is, I'm a casual moviegoer, so I have no freaking idea who this guy is. And I'm sitting down and I'm watching this ape take over the screen, and I'm like, did they just decide to play Mad Libs or something with this script? And they were like, okay, we need an animal that's not human, okay? And we're going to make the movie basically centered around this one animal, and he's going to be a singer, okay? And it just comes off really weird. And the other thing is, this script does not at one point refer to him as a monkey. Like, all these other human characters are totally okay with this guy being a chimp. And it's not addressed whatsoever as any sort of obstacle. Like, if you're gonna make him a chimp, cool. That is a fun gimmick, but, like, go all out with it. You're missing a key integral piece in this story where every single person surrounding Robbie is like, oh my god, a chimp is singing. How amazing is this? Something that, and I hate to give this series of movies credit, something that the live-action Alvin and the Chipmunks did right. Because at least those movies were talking about how amazing of a feat this is. Yeah, this movie doesn't do that. Like, if you were gonna go all out on the serious tones of what this guy actually went through, I am all for that. I have seen loads of heavier than this. And if the whole point was to make Robbie a chimp to lighten the mood based on what happened in his life, I get that sentiment. But at the same time, no disrespect, I've also seen way heavier subject matter than this. So it's not like making him a chimp did matters to make me forget forget about his troubles or to lessen the blow. It just felt to me really random. It felt to me in a bad way like I was watching BoJack Horseman. You know how BoJack Horseman you have half humans and half animals who are anthropomorphic creatures, and they don't really even acknowledge that BoJack is a horse. They don't really acknowledge that one of the main characters is a golden retriever walking around. They just kind of accept it. That's what this felt like. And sadly, it wasn't really portrayed for comedy, and it wasn't really all that funny. So yeah, overall, better man. Like, if you like this movie, more power to you. If you see the value in what this movie brings to the table, I certainly do. Like I said, the messaging of this movie and its intent is so well warranted. I just think the overall execution and Michael Gracey's direction was supremely disappointing. There were a good chunk of this movie where it just felt super grainy and it just felt very unfinished to me. And I'll admit the editing choices were kind of nauseating as well. I think this may be worth one watch, perhaps. Am I glad I sat through it? I don't know. I feel like the gimmick and the novelty wore off maybe about an hour deep, and I was like, okay, I'm waiting for this movie to get a little bit more interesting. I'm waiting for somebody to acknowledge that this motherfucker is a monkey, and nobody does. What would make this movie better, in my opinion? Just take out the chimp gimmick, because it just feels very tacky. As far as musicals go, yeah, the music is fine and what have you. The gimmick very much overstays its welcome, unfortunately. I'm gonna give Better Man a C-. Yeah, good intentions of this movie notwithstanding, maybe just a little bit too weird for me. But let me know what you think. I know this movie is gonna be incredibly polarizing for a lot of people. I know there's a good chunk of you who went to the TIFF Festival last year and saw this and loved it. And listen, more power to you. This one just wasn't for me. But hit that subscribe button if you're new. Tap on that thumbs up as well if you enjoy discussing all things in the cinematic world. I am very, very excited to be kickstarting this year 2025, talking all things in entertainment with you guys. And I can't wait to have you guys join the party. So stay tuned. Lots more coming up. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.